It's JT here, and I'm bringing you my top 10 list of adventure games at 70% off or higher that you can buy from the 2022 Steam Summer Sale. These are just my opinions on some great adventures that you can partake for cheap. So let's get into it. At number 10, we have Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, an action-adventure stealth game that marks the third and last entry to the Dishonored trilogy, where you play an assassin with access to supernatural powers, murdering people while teleporting and disguising as enemies. Although the story and missions aren't as innovative as Dishonored 2, this concluding entry is still worth a playthrough. If you're into teleporting behind somebody and mercilessly stabbing them to death, then this is a game for you. At 9, we have Outlast 2. Unlike Outlast 1, the second entry in the franchise feels more like an adventure, as you are not trapped in a claustrophobic asylum, but rather the locations are more open with forests, farms, and running rivers. Don't be fooled though, as it is still a horrific experience. I find the story to also be an improvement this time around, as it is more straightforward than the first game. You have to find your missing wife after a helicopter crash, going through some crazy cultists and a cult leader who made the Kool-Aid, if you know what I mean. At number 8, we have Blasphemous, a Souls-like Metroidvania filled with creepy set pieces and gore. This game centers around religious iconographies as you play the penitent one. You will be faced with horrors throughout your journey with plenty of blood and gore, slashing your way through enemies, upgrading your skills, and fighting through some epic boss battle. The highlight of this game is definitely the boss battles. Each boss is unique and will provide a different level of challenge every time. If you like going through an epic journey in a 2D world filled with gore, then this is definitely a game for you. At number 7, we have Batman: Arkham Knight, an open-world Batman game with excellent gameplay variety. This time around, your Batman will play in a more important role, chasing down enemies, blowing things up in tank form, and racing through Gotham as you try to stop Scarecrow from unleashing his fear gas upon Gotham. Along the way, you'll meet familiar faces like Robin, Nightwing, and Catwoman, and play through some excellent side quests with classic Batman villains like Two-Face and the Riddler. I'd recommend this game if you're into the long-running Batman Arkham games, and if you want to blast things up with your Batmobile. 6, we have Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. I listed Shadow of War as one of my recommended games in the Nether list, but Shadow of Mordor, the first entry in the game series, is also one to experience. You will be able to explore Mordor while killing orcs to your heart's desire. Visiting familiar places from the films and books definitely brings some sense of nostalgia. Coupled with a fun combat system and great storytelling befitting the Lord of the Rings lore, I would recommend this game, especially if you're into everything Lord of the Rings. At number 5, we have Shadow of the Tomb Raider. The final entry of the modern-day Tomb Raider series, this game emphasizes more on exploration rather than combat, compared to the previous entry anyway. Additionally, the tone of the game shifts slightly into a darker, horror-esque vibe. All in all, the final entry in the modern-day Tomb Raider is definitely one to experience. In fact, this game probably makes more sense if you have played the first 2 games, which I would highly recommend on their own merits anyway. At number 4, we have The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, an excellent open-world RPG game featuring great side quests and great combat system. Although the main story can feel like a series of fetch quests, the optional side quests, on the other hand, will keep you playing. With a massive open world to explore, an addictive combat system, and extremely great characters and dialogue, be prepared to spend hundreds of hours in the world of Witcher 3. 3, we have Fallout New Vegas. An older Fallout game, but still an adventure worth taking. I find Fallout New Vegas to be simpler in its gameplay compared to Fallout 4, as base building isn't really a thing. You get to meet some really interesting characters throughout your journey through the wastelands of Vegas, making choices that will determine the fate of yourself and others. I would recommend this game if you're into the first-person shooter genre blended into an open-world adventure and RPG, filled with quests and memorable characters. 2, we have Assassin's Creed Origins. Origins marks the first Assassin's Creed game that is heavy on RPG elements and introduces new weapon grades. I find myself exploring ancient Egypt, marveling at its sandy beauty, while at the same time being addicted to the looting of various weapons and equipment from corpses of victims whom I've just totally murdered. I would highly recommend this game if you're into an open-world action game with some great stealth gameplay, loot to collect, and story to immerse yourself in. Finally, at number 1, we have Borderlands 2. Released in 2012, Borderlands 2 made the series what it is today, and it is still considered the best game in the series. Setting after Borderlands 1 and the pre-sequel, Pandora has been taken over by Hyperion. Handsome Jack, its CEO, is looking for the ultimate weapon to wipe out all bandits, and you, one of the 6 playable Vault Hunters, are one, apparently, according to Jack. With an addictive loot system, characters that are larger than life, and one of the best villains in gaming history, this adventure is one to take solo, or even better, with a friend, as you co-op your way through, shooting bandits in the face with the thousands of different weapons which you will loot throughout the game. That is all for today, folks. I want to know what games have you seen on Steam that interests you in the summer sale. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy my content and want to be on the know about daily game deals and bundles, then smash that subscribe button. I will see you guys in the next video.